So I'm nearly a month into my saxophone renaissance. I said I'd do a little expose on mouthpieces that I've used. Now, obviously being a beginner, so I played saxophone a bit many years ago, so I'm classing myself as a beginner, but I already know how to get notes out of a saxophone, which is always a good starting point. So, as I say, about a month into, slightly less than a month into starting saxophone again. So, saxophone I'm using is a Yamaha, what is it called, ASF 23, a beginner, a student saxophone. So I have a couple of mouthpieces that I wanted to try out to see what worked for me. So obviously starting with low number reeds, the one that I've got in at the moment is a number 2 Flying Goose, very cheap. If you're a beginner like me, you'll probably want to do everything on the cheap, apart from which I'm a complete cheapskate anyway. So mouthpiece that I just acquired off of Amazon. It's a Soundman D5, advertised as being an ebonite mouthpiece, but I must say I doubt that very much because of the price. It's basically a very shiny plastic mouthpiece. It's a full bore. According to my measurements, it's probably about a 0.9mm tip opening, facing length probably about 20mm, full bore, so quite easy to blow. So this is the mouthpiece that I've started using on a pretty regular basis. So what I'm going to do really is try and assess how much effort it takes to get notes out of a couple of different mouthpieces. So I have with me a decibel meter, which I'll use to get a maximum decibel reading over just a very short piece of music, madness to be precise, just to get an idea of how much blowing effort and how much volume is produced from each of the mouthpieces. Because I think when you're a beginner, it's best to be as quiet as you can so that you don't upset too many people when you're blowing all those bum notes. So that's our starting point. So I'll just switch this on. Set to maximum value, so just that voice gives me about 75 decibels, so I'm talking reasonably loudly. So here goes with the Soundman D5 mouthpiece. So it's given me a decibel reading of 98.4. So what I'm going to do now is switch on to a Yamaha 4C mouthpiece. I'm going to use the same reed and same ligature. So it'll just take me a couple of seconds to switch this over. So reset the decibel meter and let's see what this does. So that's given me a decibel reading of 96.8. So if anything, slightly quieter than the Soundman. The Yamaha mouthpiece seems to have a slightly larger profile. It feels slightly bigger in the mouth, but it's a well recommended mouthpiece. Now the Soundman cost me 25 quid. The Yamaha seems to be selling at the moment for around about 40 quid, although I think you should be able to get them cheaper. So the Yamaha is a bit more expensive version. You can't get too much information about the actual specifications for the Yamaha mouthpieces. It has a tip opening of about 0.85 millimeters. The Yamaha website seems to say 1.6 millimeters, but from the measurements I've done, that's just not the case. 0.85 is about right, but and a facing length apparently of 23 millimeters. So that gives you a bit of a comparison between the two. So now I'm going to switch on to a Rico mouthpiece, and the first one will be a B3. I actually ordered an A3 and a B5, but what I got was a B3 and a B5. The B setting indicates a medium bore, so the Soundman is full bore. The Yamaha simply says it's a horseshoe bore. So Yamaha 3C is also a possibility for beginners. It's supposed to be a little bit easier to blow, but again, so same tip opening, same facing length, which is a bit contrary to what you can read on some websites. But there obviously is difference in the structure, which gives you slightly different sound, and whether it's slightly easier to play. So 3C is another alternative, but pretty much same price as far as I can see. Right, so let's have a go at some Ricos. So one thing that I have to point out, so I don't know whether you'll see this very well on camera, my neck cork is a little bit compressed. Okay, been on there a while. So the Yamaha and the Soundman both fit on reasonably comfortably to that neck cork, but I've got to show you that the Rico really doesn't go on that far. So so if you've got a new piece of corking, that could be a problem for the Rico. So just mention that. Oh, it's stiff. So it's quite a long way off from the other two. Just readjust that because I've moved the position of the neck. So reset to the maximum. This I think is going to take a little more effort to blow and should be registering a little bit louder on the decibel meter. We'll give it a try. So that's giving me a reading of 101.3 decibels. So it's definitely a bit harder to blow, a bit louder, bit more of a brassy sound to this particular mouthpiece. So depends on the type of sound that you want to get out of it. Now obviously Mouthpiece has a big impact on the sound. In theory, the body of the saxophone is just an amplifier, so all the sound is supposed to be generated from the mouthpiece. So when you get up to quality of sound, obviously when you're you know, a much more experienced player, then you'll be looking at mouthpieces to give you quality of sound. This is really just in a situation where you're trying to get a sound rather than worrying too much about your quality. So that's the same situation with the mouthpiece. It just doesn't slide on to the neck cork that easily. So let's have a reset of the decibel meter. So the last mouthpiece was the Rico B3. This will now be the Rico B5. Slight differences in tip openings and facing lengths. Not in the facing length, in the tip opening. So the B3 is a 0.18 millimeters, and the B5 is a 0.2 millimeters. It says 20 millimeters here, but that's obviously not the case. So let's give it a go. So that's a lot more squeaky. That's registered 108.9 decibels. So the longer facing length, a lot more blowing effort, and a lot more volume. So that gives an indication. So I've been quite liking the Soundman. I should mention the Rico. Both of the Rico mouthpieces were about 27 quid. So comparable in price to the Soundman. I imagine the Soundman is probably a Chinese product, but I don't know that for sure. But price wise, you're probably very comparable with the Soundman and the Rico. The Soundman, honestly, to me is a little bit easier to deal with. I think probably when I'm further into playing, 2 or 3 months in, then I might be looking at the Rico again, because it does give quite a nice brassy sound. Depends whether you want the more brassy sound or the smoother, mellower sound. That obviously, when you're a little bit further into playing and you're looking for quality of sound, then that obviously becomes more of an issue. But first, starting out, whether you can get a sound, the easiest to blow mouthpiece, the lowest volume is probably going to suit you best. So that's my little expose of mouthpieces that I've acquired over the Christmas period. Hope that's of some interest. I'll try and edit this up a little bit more, because otherwise it's going to be a very scrappy video. So if you get a bit of stopping and starting in the video, it's because I've taken out the rubbish. So thank you very much. Hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll hope to produce some more interesting material, or marginally interesting material, on saxophones. So if you want to hear about that, then subscribe to the channel and open the notifications so that you get told whenever I've posted something new. So thank you very much, and good afternoon to all. Bye now.